Hello and welcome to the Penno Channel for this transfer update from the January 2025 window. Before we start, if you could like, subscribe and let me know your thoughts on the things we discussed regarding Aston Villa's transfer window so far and what could happen going forward. So let's start then with some rumours that have been circulating. A big one that's recently come about is Milan Skriniar, the 29-year-old centre-back from PSG. I think everyone will have heard of Milan Skriniar. He's had an unbelievable career, most notably at Inter Milan, where he won Serie A, he won the Coppa Italia, and was a Champions League and Europa League runner-up with Inter Milan. So he had a great career there. I think that was over a 6-year period. He's a Slovakian international, 77 caps for Slovakia, currently the captain of the side as well. So he's a vastly experienced centre-back who's played at the highest level for a number of years now. He signed for PSG in 2023 in the summer window on a free transfer, so he let his contract run down at Inter. And remember, there's a big deal around it, who could get the signature of Milan Skriniar, and he ended up signing for PSG on a 5-year deal, which lasted 2028. Now, there's rumours circulating that potentially Milan Skriniar can be got in this window. He hasn't played for PSG this season hardly. He's been on the bench for a majority of games this season. He's only made 5 appearances in League 1. They now favour William Pacho playing alongside Marquinhos at the back. So he's hardly played. He wasn't even in the squad for their recent Super Cup victory against Monaco. And the majority of games this season, he's found himself on the bench and not coming on and getting any minutes. He hasn't even made an appearance in the Champions League. And as we know, 6 games have already been played in the group stages. It's one where it's a player with vast experience. He's 29 years old. And is this an opportunity which Villa could pounce on? Now, there's reports that from L'Equipe that Tottenham and Aston Villa are aware of Skriniar and they'll be looking to sign him. Now, we know the defensive troubles and struggles Spurs have. They've had Romero out. Van der Ven doesn't seem to be able to stay fit. And then Archie Gray's been playing a number of games there. So I can see the interest from Spurs. Regarding Villa, though, we have Pau Torres now out for at least 2 months. Tyrone Mings is returning, but he's returning from a massive injury which he had last season. So it could take time for Mings to get back up to real speed and match fitness, even though when he has stepped in so far, he's been exemplary. But he can't play every game now. Tyrone Mings is getting on as well. So with that, we have Ezri Konsa and Diego Carlos. Now, there's been reports that Villa are potentially looking to offload Diego Carlos as well if the right price is made and the right bid's made, and there has been rumours for Fenerbahce potentially looking at his services and other clubs within the Premier League. So if Diego Carlos was to go, then I could see something happening with Milan Skriniar. Obviously, he has experience. The difficulty would be agreeing a fee with PSG because his contract is until 2028, so he still has 3 and a bit years on his contract left. So they'd be looking to take a cut price fee for sure because he's not part of their plans going forward. In terms of his skills, strong tackler, great positional awareness, always has done, and he can pass the ball, whether it be short passes or long passes. Really good on the ball. The only worries I'd have regarding that is, can he adapt to the Premier League and the pace of it? We sometimes lack that with Pau Torres at times when he started. Can Skriniar adapt, and would he be able to use his positional awareness to cover areas and his deficiencies in his pace, which is the main attribute. But in terms of on the ball, he's very good. He has the experience to go with it as well. But just the slight concerns of why is he so out of favour at PSG? Why have they moved on from his services? And then also, can he adapt to coming to the Premier League? But it's a big name, and if he'll have interest, it kind of reaffirms that Villa are still looking after a centre-back this window, as well as a right-back and an attacking winger/second striker. So yeah, keep an eye out on Milan Skriniar and how that develops, because I think that's a really interesting link. And I think if we can get him for the right price and the wage demands, I think there'd be some form of discussions regarding that. He does cover a lot of bases within that. The only thing as well is we signed Diego Carlos around 29 years old, and now we're struggling to get a respectable fee for him. He had that massive Achilles injury, of course, which kind of put him back. He was out for the majority of the season, but he hasn't been the same. I don't think he's had good performances here and there, but he's not reliable at all. So that would be my concern with Skriniar coming at that age. The adaptation, and then what we get out of him. What could he give us in terms of over a 3-4 year period, and is that worth taking the risk to sign him? Moving forward, there's been further links to another attacker, centre striker, and these links always come about, to be honest, because of his association with Unai Emery, and that's Samuel Chukwueze, 25-year-old winger who now plays for AC Milan, Nigerian international with 44 caps. Samuel Chukwueze links have been going on for a while now, because obviously whilst Unai Emery was Villarreal manager for that 2-year spell where he won the Europa League, Samuel Chukwueze was part of his squad and had probably his best season so far in his career with Villarreal under Unai Emery. This is part of the Europa League winning side, which also Pau Torres was part of, and we signed Pau Torres from Villarreal, so we have a good relationship in that sense. But yeah, he's moved on to AC Milan now. Pacey winger, very good dribbler, direct. But the thing that concerns me is his numbers. Now, he's never been the most prolific. I think his best season, he got 6 goals, 8 assists, and that was under Villarreal, and that was at the point when Unai Emery started the season, and then he moved to Villa within a few months. That was his best season, and off the back of that, he got the move to AC Milan in 2023. His numbers have never been up there, never got double-digit goals in Serie A or in La Liga either, his best season being 6 so far. So that is the concern, because that's something we really lack. Obviously, with Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins and Duran currently providing the most of the goals and assists within the side. Fortunately, Leon Bailey has got off the mark now, and hopefully he can build on that. And yeah, apart from that, we're relying on Ross Barkley to provide. So we need more goals within the side, and that would be my concern with Chukwueze. Would he be able to improve on the numbers he's had in La Liga and Serie A? Obviously, Unai Emery knows him so well. He's managed him for 2 years. He knows what he's capable of. So that would have some trust and faith within that, because Unai Emery knows him as a player already, and would have an idea around how we'd use him. So yeah, we'll see how Samuel Chukwueze links develop. He plays a number of games for AC Milan now. He's in their side virtually every week. He starts off that right-hand side and he puts in good performances, but he just misses that clinical edge and the numbers to back up the performances he produces. So again, we'll see how that one develops, but it's an interesting link, and again reaffirms Villa looking at a right winger / a player who could potentially play second striker off John Duran or Ollie Watkins. Moving forward from that and potential outgoings now, it does seem as if Philogene will be going this window. As we're looking for a player to play in that position, as stated, the policy at Villa seems to be 1 in, 1 out, to get around PSR regulations, and obviously for the Champions League squad, if we do progress to the next round, which is looking very likely that we do, the re-registration will need, if a player is to come in, then a player will need to leave for that registration process. So I think Philogene will go. A lot of talk now around Everton signing him. I could see that happening, really could. They did have interest held in him at the point where we re-signed him from Hull along with Ipswich. I think Everton are looking to bolster their squad, especially in those attacking areas with the number of open play goals they've scored under Sean Dyche. I know currently Iliman Ndiaye operates off that left-hand side. On the right-hand side, it's usually Jack Harrison. Is Philogene an upgrade on Jack Harrison potentially? And then they like to play with Dwight McNeil in the middle of the pitch behind the striker and in front of the midfielders. So could Philogene add to Everton's attacking threat? Yeah, but what we've seen of Philogene so far at Villa hasn't lived up to the expectation of what he was producing in the Champions League, and he hasn't really made the jump. I think I've stated previously, in attacking sense, he's been close to nothing at all, and his one outstanding performance was more in regard to his defensive actions, and that was against Bayern Munich. So he's had limited opportunity, but with the opportunities he hasn't really kicked on and shown what he can do, and maybe at Everton he can do that. Now, whether that be an initial loan or they could sign him and we again initiate a buyback clause, I'm not sure how that will happen, but I could see a loan happening. I could see that happening with Everton, or maybe even further, which has been reported by Fabrizio that a permanent deal can be struck. Finally, another potential outgoing from Aston Villa, and that's Kosta Nedeljkovic. Now, the 19-year-old was signed from Red Star Belgrade in January 2024 and came across after a loan spell back at his parent club in the summer of 2024. Now, he played a few games during pre-season, and then from the start of the season, he made 3 appearances. Most notably, he played about 70 minutes against Arsenal because of Matty Cash going off injured. Came on against West Ham and also against Leicester as well. And since that point, he's only made one other appearance in the Premier League, and that was a substitute appearance most recently against Newcastle. So he's been struggling to get minutes. His main minutes have come from the League Cup and sporadic appearances in the Champions League off the bench. Kosta Nedeljkovic is a 19-year-old right-back who has Champions League experience with Red Star Belgrade and has also made 6 appearances for Serbia as a full international. So he has a lot of experience for his age and he needs first team football. He's currently not getting that at Villa. So it looks like the main option would be to let him go out on loan, and potentially Valencia looking at doing a deal to get Kosta Nedeljkovic on loan until the rest of the season. Now Valencia are a side who are currently struggling in La Liga. They're trying to stay up. They already have Enzo Barrenechea on loan from Villa. So we have a good relationship currently with that. Could Kosta Nedeljkovic potentially go to Valencia? I think that would be a good deal for both sides. It gives Kosta Nedeljkovic the opportunity to play full 90 minutes within a competitive environment, and he'd be playing under pressure as well because Valencia really do need to stay up. So I think that's a great deal if that does materialise, but Kosta Nedeljkovic getting good first team experience, starting games on a regular basis will be really good for his development and for Aston Villa as well. That's all for the transfer update. As always, if you could like, subscribe and